Hey, heidi ho, everybody, and welcome to the Retirement Railroad, and of course, uh, live from.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. And
Of course, I had to do that, and let me bring my co-host up here.
Rocky Top.
All right, welcome, John.
Good morning, Steve, and people out there in YouTube land.
Yeah. So far, we've got JD and JB joining us. Dwight just popped in. Hey, Dwight. So we do have a special guest today. Although I don't have a theme song for him, but he is directly in between John and I. So there he is, kind of in between us. Hey, Jason.
Hey, all you need is the University of Arkansas fight song. That works.
I don't have that. I'll have to look that up.
It sounds a whole lot better than our state song, the Arkansas Traveler. So,
Yeah. Hey, Lee and Roy.
hey guys,
Container Man and Lee, Anfield in the Law. Hey, Lee, send me the link for Sunday if you want. I'm back available now. So now that I've got all the honeydew lists on the new house kind of done, I always have to put kind of in there. So.
Boy, you can just never have enough Johns. Keep it up.
Yeah, for convenience sake.
Hey, whatever.
see, that just means y'all got to share your name.
Yep. Yeah, you're the only Jason, aren't you?
There's a couple of others, but they're not very active like I am.
Yeah, I got Wiggy, and I got the reverse. I got Kyle Stevens. So, and then Wigwag is Steve.
So there is a Jason in the UK. That's Barnabas Junction.
Yeah. You're right.
There's a Jason in Australia, and he goes by Jason Wood. And then there is another Jason up in the Northeast, close to where Amherst is going to be, and that's a Rail Fan Man. I think that's his YouTube channel name, Rail Fan Man.
Okay.
Cool. I can't remember off the top of my head if there's like any numbers at the end of it or not, but I know it's Rail Fan Man, but his name is Jason as well. So,
JB saying he doesn't know. He won't. He says he doesn't know of any other Johns. He's just not recognizing them.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, I hope that is. Hang on a second.
that-
I gotta look at something. Pray her.
Is that mail delivery?
It's Amazon.
Ah.
Yay!
Yeah.
well, you get your Amazon early.
Oh yeah, they come a lot earlier here than they do at home. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that's your Amazon delivery song, Penny Barking.
Yeah. I've got there's three things coming. Like this sweater so much, my wife bought me another one for my birthday that has pockets.
Ah, yeah.
Except if it's a white or beige colored one, or lack of colored one. And then also two real long, I think they're like 4 foot long power strips. One to go on the workbench here, all right, and one to go on. I heard. Ooh, there they are. Did the sweater come too? Just that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's my power strips.
Oh, okay, well then there you go.
Hey.
Come on, Penny, let Daddy be.
So I do have a mail call. You.
Great.
Oh, look how
I
clear
was-
there.
I was hoping to have a mail call today, but
Yeah.
the guy just put them in the mail yesterday.
Oh,
So yeah, a week and a half before he stuck it in the mail. Yeah, must have been on.
you know, Amazon gave me the option to hold off delivery, all right, on one of the items, either this one or the sweater, and so that they could all come together. And then the sweater didn't come.
Well, maybe the sweater's down in the bottom of the box, stuffed in there.
Doubt it. Doubt it. I got tired of having umpteen power strips, you know. No, it's not in the bottom, John. Just
Okay.
just to verify. You know, hang on a second. I'll show you. Yeah. See, I'll turn it upside down, shake it. Nothing in there.
Check it to make sure it ain't broken.
What? The sweater?
No,
the light.
the box. Don't you know you're always supposed to shake the box to make sure it ain't broken?
Yeah.
Yeah, before you even
At
open
Christmas time, yeah.
And then if it makes that loud rattle noise, you don't open it and you send it back.
unopened. Yes. Oh, hi!
Oh.
Just came in.
Hey, hi.
Hi,
Oh.
hi.
Hi.
What the hell? Oh, it's a mounting bracket.
Oh, no, you don't. You better get back in there.
And more mounting brackets. God dang.
Well, hopefully you can mount them in any location along the bar. Is that
I was just
correct?
gonna. I'm just laying it. I guess that's if you wanted to do it overhead, you could somehow.
Clip 'em
Don't
on.
know how.
That's
Oh,
one.
that's how. Okay. Right like that.
Jason, JB wants to know what you're working on.
I am working on putting lights in 2 different shells.
Anyway, this is
And I'll show you how big the lights are. They are little.
Are they the 0.5 millimeter surface mounts?
There we go. Right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know your pain on those. I was doing the same thing to this FP7, sorry. And I did the headlights, the number boards, and the itty bitty class lights.
Oh, nice.
And this is a 1970s version Atlas from Roco,
Yeah.
made in Australia. I've got 4 of them now, so I'll be doing that to every one of them.
So did you have to cut out the number boards and replace them with clear number boards?
No, they were clear number boards to start.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I had to drill out the class light hole. And then I used some of the canopy glue to create the lenses for it.
Yeah. So what I use is, where's it at? Well, it's here somewhere. It's Micro Crystal Clear by Micro.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what I use.
Now, I did my class lights in red, but of course my surface mount LEDs were not red; they were clear. So I had some Tamiya, the clear red that I had, but it's red. I got them a long time ago from my Suzuki Samurai because the tail lights had lost their red color.
Oh, okay.
Spray this stuff inside of plastic, and it turns red, but it's translucent, so you can still see the light.
Right.
Well, I took that spray and just barely sprayed the LEDs, and they work perfectly. So it's one way to change color on your LEDs without having to buy separate ones. And they make a green and they make a yellow. So green, yellow, and red. You can always do your traffic lights that way.
I know with
Hey, Chip.
flashlight, you would either have white, green, red, or dark. Dark meaning off.
Yeah.
They would only use red if it was in a trailing position, as a rear end
Right.
locomotive.
And I'm gonna have it set up that way so it only comes on when it's going back.
Reverse. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I'll probably make a couple of pairs out of the 4 I have. So I'll have nose tail, FP7 units. So that's the purpose of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't want to try to get a multicolored light in there because the DCC chip that I got wouldn't have the capabilities of changing different colors on there, even if I had the light for it. So I just went with the red, and it'll be set up for to come on when it's in reverse.
Well, that would be cool to see.
Yeah, it'll be different. I don't see many people doing that on these old engines. I actually like getting the older engines and modernizing them.
So what I'm working on, it's one of mine, is my GP7.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love them.
And so Cotton Belt had one GP7. It was originally a GP7P. So it was a Jeep 7 with a steam generator for passenger duty. And it was the only GP7 on the SP system. So what I'm doing on it is I've drilled out the class lights and I put white ones in for if I ever run an extra.
Okay.
Because that's what the whites are for. Basically, from my understanding, if I understood it correctly, white was used for an extra. So this would have been during the timetable days, to let crews on a siding know that this train is not on the timetable. But if a train was in a a siding, and they see a train with green lights come by, then that means that this is a section of the train. That means there's another section following it to not go. And then the last train in that section would have its classification lights off. So in forward direction, you would either see green, white, or off. And then, of course, if it's trailing or backing up, then it would be red.
Red. Okay. Yeah.
And you would see that on the lanterns on the caboose as well. Yeah.
And I intend to try to do some lighting on some of my caboose however you say multiple cabooses.
Cabooses.
No, it's caboose.
Or cabooses?
No, caboose. Caboose is caboose.
Yes,
plural or singular.
Just like moose is moose.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out where I got these little 0.5 millimeter surface mount LEDs because I don't have many left, so I need a bunch.
One of the things I like about shops is where you can see everything. All right, because if you can see it, you can find it. Okay. Now I had 2 of the plug-in USB adapters. Damn, if I can find them.
Well, I I do like some of these new power strips that come with the USB adapters built into them. I've got
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
do too. They're nice. They're nice.
I've even
My
replaced
wife grabs those.
some of the receptacles in my house that have gone bad
Hmm.
with the ones that have 2 outlets and then
Right.
2 USBs,
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
and that's nice.
Yeah, I've got one of those in my kitchen, so it works well. And then my bedroom lights, my on my end table lights, they both of them have 2 USBs in the light base, so you don't have to turn the light on. They're always powered
Oh, and the lamps.
in the lamp itself, in the
Yeah.
base of the lamp, so that works well.
Yeah, you'll find that a lot in hotels.
Hmm.
So here's my Jeep 7.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know how well you're going to be able to see it,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
but that's where I drilled out one of the class lights and put an LED in it.
Oh, good.
I'm
Cool.
working on the front ones now.
Hmm.
Got that one, and then of course same on the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
See, now I'm a
one-
GP7 guy. I've got a bunch of them.
so this is actually the wrong paint scheme. Bachman, so Cotton Belt's GP9s look like this,
Uh-huh.
but their GP7 looked very different. It looked similar to the paint scheme that was used on their Alco RS3s. And so what's wrong about this, and I'm gonna have to go and fix it, is Cotton Belt was not stacked. It was spread out across above the handrail.
Uh-huh.
The 304 was actually here where the logo was, and the logo's where the 304 is. And then the silver, or what we call the whiskers, were actually down lower, and it wasn't silver all the way to the top. It was angled right below the headlight and then back down. So the top, all this top piece here where the number boards and stuff is supposed to be black, and it even had whiskers on the back end.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna have to do some painting to it, but I'm probably just gonna do it by brush.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite different.
Yeah, and because it was originally a passenger locomotive, they had a steam generator in the short hood. So
And you say they only had one GP7?
yeah, between Southern Pacific, Cotton Belt, and Texas and New Orleans, or TN&O, this was the only GP7.
Man.
But they had a huge fleet of GP9s.
Okay. So my CNEI had about 35 GP7s.
Yeah.
And my comment to my wife when she was still alive is, I told her, "Don't worry, I won't buy more than the railroad actually had." I'm up to about 27 282s.
Oh, wow.
I've only got a couple more to keep that in that range of what they had. So, there's ways of doing things,
Yeah, I've got one 484 L1 Northern now, and I will not be buying any more because I can only get those in brass.
Oh, okay, yeah. And I see JB likes GB7s also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is so the reason why I'm modeling in the late 50s is because everything before the GP20 are like some really cool locomotives.
Mm-hmm.
From all the different manufacturers, Baldwin, Alco, EMD, I'm trying to, I don't think there was any other manufacturers at that time. GE split from Alco later on.
Right.
But, for my switchers, I've got a SW7. I've got a Baldwin VO1000 that I still need to detail it. So like Stewart Hobbies, they would provide you all the detail parts, but I never detailed it. So I still got to do that. And I also have a Kato NW2 that's in Seaboard that's going to get painted to the Cotton Belt's original paint scheme, which was the yellow and gray. So I've got all the stuff to do it. These are just like projects like way down the road. So more focused on the layout than the locomotives because I got plenty of locomotives up and running. Is that your VO 1000?
No, that's the 660.
Oh, okay.
660. It was the first one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've got that, and I've got a neat picture of this when it was first brought out on the CNEI railroad. So, yeah, I know it's correct. Also, I've got someplace saved that CNEI got 4 of the RS1s in the Illinois state colors, the blue and orange.
Okay.
And I've got a picture of all 4 of them hooked together in a row because they were all delivered the same day.
Oh,
That's
that's
University of Illinois, not Illinois State.
Okay, I'm from Indiana. What do I know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So anyway,
I had to correct you before Dwight did.
okay, that's or JB. He's up in that area too. He probably knew better than me.
I think JB's in Indiana.
Yeah, he's in northern Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was just looking at a map of the Cotton Belt, Jason, even though I didn't know you were going to be on yet. And it goes into St. Louis. Well, and that's one of the termination points to the CNEI railroad. So, you know, you need some CNEI cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
You have to,
Oh, here comes another package.
oh.
UPS.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we actually had the mail train actually coming by multiple times during the stream today.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Different mail trains.
yes,
Different railroads.
but it
This
all
one-
seems like the same bark.
Same bark, yeah.
The
Hey,
all of my
Kyle.
mail means it's customer stuff.
Yes.
What do we know about B&O, Baltimore and Ohio?
I don't know much.
The Capital City Limited from New York through Washington, D.C. to Chicago was a much longer route than either Penske's Broadway Limited or New York Central's 20th Century Limited. All right. And to compete, since it took longer, they did all the luxurious services, barbershop and all that kind of stuff on there. So that's how they maintained their ridership. That's what I know about the B&O.
Yeah, I don't know hardly anything on the B&O.
What I got here?
In
Yay!
my UPS.
I saw the camera. Let me see it.
But John, back to the Cotton Belt. So their route actually ended in East St. Louis,
East
Illinois.
St. Louis. Okay.
But they had trackage rights to cross the Mississippi River into St. Louis, which I think they had a freight depot there.
Okay.
But that was not part of their route. So it's East St. Louis, and then it would go down to Tyler, Texas, and split.
Of course, East St. Louis is actually in Illinois, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
I had a Army buddy that was from East St. Louis, so yeah.
So Cotton Belt did not. Well, yeah, it did go through Missouri, but it was like only the Boot Hill of Missouri. I want to say it crossed over in what is that, Carthage, maybe? Like very, very southeast Missouri.
Not
What is
No.
directly across from? You got Sikeston, then south of Sikeston is Marston or New Madrid.
I have a 102-year-old document here. So let's see. Okay, it crossed over between Ilmo and Thebes.
All right, wherever those are.
And then crossed again at East St. Louis into St. Louis. It did go to Cairo and New Madrid, but
New Madrid, yeah.
so at Malden, Missouri is where it split.
All right, Malden, yeah, familiar with that. My mom's side of the family was originally from that part of the country.
Okay. So I guess it went into Missouri between Piggott, St. Francis, and Campbell. I know Piggott's Arkansas. I'm not too sure about St. Francis. On what side that is. But of course, it went into Memphis as well on via the Rock Island. But Mount Pleasant, Texas, it would split, and then would either go down to Tyler, down to Corsicana where Jack's at. Tyler, it split and went to White City, Texas, through Lufkin. So yeah, I got the full map right here.
Oh, nice.
But just to show you how old this is, don't know how well y'all can read that.
1922, June 15th.
Yeah. So
Yep.
102 years old.
My mom's side of my family was Irish immigrants, and they probably worked on that railroad.
Yeah,
Very,
I've got
very possible either that one or the St. Louis, Iron Mountain, and Southern.
Whatever went through Marston, Missouri, and over to Hoxie, Arkansas.
That's the St. Louis, Iron Mountain, and Southern, or Mopac.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got quite a few old CNEI documents also that I've bought, and I even have a printing stamp for an actual printing machine, press machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the blocks for the CNEI logo. Of course, it's backwards because it's on a printing press, but I found that online. That was pretty neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, have you all ever experienced an LED bulb that, let's say it starts out cool, white, turn it off, turn it on again, and it's a medium white, and you turn it off, turn it on again, and it's a warm white? And it's the bulb because it's not the fixture.
And then you turn it off and turn it back on, it goes back to cool white.
Yeah.
So it rotates between three different temperature
Yeah,
ranges.
Yep. Bizarre.
I've seen the bulbs that have the actual adjustment for the different coolness settings right on the bulb itself, where you can change the bulb, but I've never heard anything about turning
I thought
it
I was losing it. All right.
Probably.
One day it was warm white, and the next day it's cool white. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, Steve, you was losing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Well, actually,
three-way
you
LED, Roy.
Well, actually, there's no way Steve was losing it because that would require him having it at first.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's
good.
funny.
Well, Steve, you were mentioning that Jason's like in between you and I. Maybe we can have a meet sometime at Jason's place.
There you go.
Hey,
There you go. Especially once he gets his layout operational for
Yeah.
operations.
well, it's kind of there. I mean, I can run
He's
two
farther than
locals.
we are.
I can run two locals and an industrial switcher.
Okay.
And that's more than we can do,
So
Steve.
what's Robert gonna do?
Well, that requires him coming up.
He did call yesterday, by the way, Jason.
Oh, okay. Are y'all going to try to go over to Steve Davis's place?
Yeah.
He's been trying to get me to go for a long time, and it seems like every time he has an opportunity, I've got stuff going on.
What's it, about 4.5 hours for you?
Yeah, I think we were saying that we were going to get a hotel together and split the cost on it
Oh, there you go.
for one night,
Right,
and then the
right,
next day go and operate, and then go home.
Yeah.
right.
So, but yeah, it's
How long does it take you to get to Fort Smith?
about 2.5.
Okay, because it's about an hour and a half out of Fort Smith.
Yeah, two to 2.5. Actually, well, Van Buren, because I wouldn't go to Fort Smith.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I'm talking about.
yeah, 2 to 2.5, just depending on traffic. My main obstacle from the way that I go is getting through Conway, because
Yeah, but
I'm on US
oh.
64,
Okay, you
so I don't
you
go
drive
down
all
to
the way
Little
down.
Rock and back up.
Okay.
So I take 64 over, and once you get into Conway, there's like several red lights. It's like the huge shopping, outlet mall area. So the traffic is just horrendous.
Yep.
But as soon as I get on the interstate, it's smooth sailing the whole way.
Right. It's
You know.
nothing. Yeah.
As far as like the trucks and stuff go, when it comes to the, interstate in Arkansas, the trucks, the worst part is between Little Rock and Memphis.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
it's a choke
Definitely.
point. Because
It is.
you
You
got,
got 55 and 40 coming together, and 30.
yeah,
All right. Well, not 55, 30 and 40 coming together, and
it's a huge choke point.
Terrible. They need to widen it out at least to 3 lane.
Yeah, all the way, the whole
Yeah.
way. But
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever do it. And they're in the process of, once Arkansas gets 67, 167 finished, it's at Hoxie now, but once they get it all the way up to Missouri, then that's going to change to I-57.
Correct. It's
And
an
I-57
extension I-57. Yeah.
St. Louis down to Little Rock.
Then you can drive it all the way to Chicago.
Yep.
So, you can stop Sykeston to Lambert's and get some throw rolls.
Yes. So I haven't been to the one in Lambert's, but I have been, or the one in Sykeston, but I have been at the one in Foley, Alabama, like a handful of times.
Okay. The one, of course, in Sykeston's the original one.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to that one and the one, I presume they still have the one in Branson. Well, there you go. You're back.
That was weird.
Yeah, it
was
was.
quick too.
Very quick. I presume they still have the one in Branson.
No, they don't.
They don't. Oh.
Not in Branson. It's
between Springfield and Branson.
I think it's closer to Springfield.
Okay. Yeah. That whole area to me is Branson.
Me and Amanda, we go to Branson all the time. That's like our second home.
We used to, when we lived here before and the kids were growing up, every summer we'd go to Branson. And then we'd have relatives, my mom's side of the family would come down out of Michigan. My brother would come up. And, of course, my aunt and uncle who lived over on Greers Ferry Lake would come. And we'd always have like a family reunion there in Branson. And we'd stop at the old Buffalo Ranch in Afton, Oklahoma.
Now, Greers Ferry, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can be there in about an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah. My aunt and uncle were on the other side of the lake, though, over in Fairfield Bay.
Fairfield Bay.
Yeah, we drive over to Conway and then straight. Actually, I stopped driving all the way to Conway. We drive to Morrilton and then cut up like 92 up towards Damascus and then up that way.
I will tell you, like, that area, Damascus and Greenbrier, has really grown.
I bet.
Especially,
didn't they widen? What's the 65 or 67 that runs up through there?
65.
Yeah. Did they widen that?
It is. They're still widening it. It is actually 5 lanes.
Holy crap!
Conway through Clinton, almost to Marshall.
All right.
So, yeah, they and then of course there's areas north of Marshall. I think the problem that they're having is the areas close to the Buffalo River around St. Joe.
Right. Some of those cuts got to be
Yeah.
widened, and the valleys, there's a lot of fill and bridge work. So,
Yeah, especially around Leslie,
okay.
which is it's right between a hill and a creek.
That's always interesting.
Yeah, and it's got the signs that says "Watch for falling rocks."
That's always very interesting.
Yeah.
I was coming up the mountain road coming up to my house, and it's several hundred feet, maybe close to 1,000-foot elevation change.
Yeah,
And there is that sign. Well, one day I was coming up, and there was a rock about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle laying in the outside lane. So yeah,
Ooh.
be careful of that. Yeah.
Kyle used to be between me and Robert now until I moved. So,
the only time I've ever actually seen rocks on the side of like an interstate or a highway like that was on I-24 between Murfreesboro and Chattanooga.
yeah, up there on Mount Eagle.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mount
The,
Eagle's fun.
where is that where the
I
interstate
saw the rock slide.
splits and goes around the mountain?
Yeah, opposite
Yes.
sides of it. Yeah.
Yes. The I saw the rock slide that closed I-40 up by Gatlinburg. You couldn't get through. You had a detour. I-40 was closed for months. You had
Wow.
a detour up to Johnson City. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been that far along I-40. The farthest I've been is right past Knoxville when it goes to 82.
okay.
You go up to Bristol.
Is that 82 or 81?
81, sorry. 81.
You threw a new interstate at me.
CJ.
Yeah,
John?
that's where the split is. And I got a buddy that lives in Johnson City. My daughter went to school up in Roanoke. My middle daughter, the one that's here now,
Yeah.
the attorney. So. Hello, Floyd. Welcome. How is Southern Ontario this fine morning?
And Jason,
I'm gonna
I'm
have
in
to get-
between Knoxville and Nashville, almost in between them, south
that?
of
Cookville.
Cookville.
Yeah, I know where that's over there by the
I'm in-
time change.
Yeah, I'm in Sparta, which is just due south of Cookville.
So are
Right.
you Eastern time zone or Central?
I'm central.
Okay.
Just barely.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
barely.
Yeah, barely. Probably spitting distance.
No,
Why?
it's past Crossville that it changes. So
Okay.
I've
My
got
daughter, who
40-minute
is
drive.
my daughter-in-law, who is born and raised in Cookville. All right, she had a hard time coming here to Oklahoma and understanding why we're still in the Central Time Zone. Why there's a half an hour difference in sunrise and sunset. More like 45-minute difference.
Hey, and it goes
I had to
all the way
explain-
to the New Mexico state line.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But she's always grown up on the far side of it. So
Yeah.
we're much closer to the western edge of the time zone than she is to the east. So anyway,
Yeah.
I would
Here or
say
there.
Fort Smith is probably like dead central. By the time you factor the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma on one side, and then Arkansas and half of Tennessee on the other side.
yeah, probably close to that
Hmm.
because probably close to that.
I mean, it takes me about 10 hours to get to Amarillo.
But you got to understand, Oklahoma borders the mountain time zone.
Yeah, in the panhandle where Dennis is at.
Yeah. Is Dennis in Woodward, or is he out by Guyman, or where the hell is he? I heard him say one time he's 3 hours from Oklahoma City, and the only way that could happen is way out west in the Panhandle.
I think he's like, he told us once before, he's like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that is.
So
I mean, you're not close to Amarillo. You're not even close to Dumas. All right, Dodge City. you're not close to anything out there. So
I want to say probably the closest
in-
city is
Roy says he's in May, Oklahoma. All right. So
May,
now I gotta
Oklahoma.
look up. Now I
Don't
gotta
know where
look
that's
up May because I haven't heard of that one.
I would say Dennis is probably the closest big city he's probably to, maybe Pueblo City, Colorado.
Says west of
Or
Woodward.
Walsenburg. There's May. Yeah, he's northwest of Woodward and east of Guyman. Probably the closest thing to him would be Dodge City.
Well, I know whatever it is not close.
Yeah. It's kind of like me. I'm in between actually Sparta and Crossville. So either way I go, it's at least 25, 30 minutes to get to one of them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm on the outskirts of Little Rock, North Little Rock, on the northeast side.
Mm-hmm. See, my daughter lived down in what is it? Starts with a B.
Benton.
Benton. She lived in Benton for 4 or 5 years, and I
Yeah,
got
that's south.
That's the southwest side.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can be in Benton in about 30 minutes.
Isn't that where Jacuzzi is or was?
Jacuzzi?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
That may be.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. They were either a plant or I don't know if they were headquartered there or not, but I believe they had a operation there in Benton, right off the interstate.
I'm not sure. I know what's big in that area is Alcoa, which there's a little town right outside of Benton called Bauxite.
Yeah.
And that's because there's actually bauxite there.
Bauxite there?
And I know Alcoa is there.
Hmm.
That's pretty big. Granite Mountain, which is a rock quarry, is pretty big on the south central, southeast part of Little Rock. I mean, they got some other industries around the Little Rock port area. But I know they do send a rock train down to Texas like daily. Not real sure about Jacuzzi.
Yeah. But she moved from there. Now she lives in the Netherlands. She's up there close to High.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I sent back a Engage CNEI train car with her. She was here in December.
Roy, Benton is not the home of Wally World. Bentonville is the home of Wally World.
Yeah, there's a difference.
2 different places.
Now, Bentonville is located in Benton County.
Way up northwest Arkansas.
Far northwest.
North of Fayetteville.
Yeah, because there's
Rogers.
a train show there the last Saturday of February.
Robert!
Is that the Crow?
It is.
The Crow is in the house.
We were talking about you earlier, Robert.
We're talking about Steve Davis. How you've been trying to pull my leg to go with you months. I don't know if that's my internet going in and out or what. I have no clue.
Man, that was quick though. I mean, it's boom, boom, and you're back.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm on my phone, but I've got Wi-Fi right here in the room. So, I mean, the
Robert
distance
says, "Why are you
between
here?
me and the
Go back to
wireless
work."
access point's like 10 feet. Probably not even 10 feet.
My when one of the honeydews I had was put Cat5 cables to all the main places, like where my wife's office is, out here to the garage for me, my office.
Yeah.
The main bedroom, and of course the living
Well,
room.
I did that because my internet comes in on the opposite end of the house.
Mhm.
And so I actually got up in the attic and ran wires to
what I
several
did.
different rooms, including in here. And so I actually have a hard wire going from into the wireless access point. It actually goes into a little hub. One goes to my computer, and then the other one goes to the access point.
And what people don't understand, wireless is 10,000 baud, and hardwired is
So much more.
100,000 plus.
Yeah.
So.
No, absolutely.
Well, hi. I've been delegated to the garage, as you can see the car behind me.
So, Steve, are you going to do like me and take the garage door out and actually frame
No.
it?
No, I've got a shed in the back. It's just not big enough. It's 8 by 16, and I want to put a 12 by 24 in. I could get by with a 10 by 24.
Robert, how big is your tough shed that you had built back in 20?
I think he's 15 by something.
I want to say it's like close to 30 feet long,
Yeah.
maybe 40 feet.
Yeah, I want to get a 14 by 40.
I know
But
Robert's got a good space.
14 by 34. Okay.
Okay, 14 by 34.
So how wide are your aisles? And,
Not very wide. I can speak on that.
And how wide is the layout on each wall? I know it's wider in the peninsula. Because I was trying to figure out.
I think his
on
walls
12
are his benchmark's only like 2 feet. It's like mine.
All right.
But yeah, them
2 feet.
aisles. I will be the first to say, because
Okay.
I've been there several times. You can't pass each other in the aisle. You have to go to either one end or the other to go around each other. So
yeah, it's right here this is my aisle distance on this side. It's a good 2.5, maybe 3 feet.
yeah, I think Roberts is like 24 inches to 20 to 30 inches. So yeah.
And-
Roy says I should change the N scale.
Yeah.
Ain't happening. I am not gonna mess with little itty bitty N scale stuff. Hell, I have a hard enough time re-railing an HO, let alone an N scale.
I know.
Well, you could go halfway to TT.
Nah, it ain't happening.
Tabletop.
Yeah, then you have to.
That's
all
actually
your-
hard to find stuff for tabletop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
It's
You can go to
almost as
England and
hard-
get TT.
Yeah, it's almost as hard as finding S.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a hobby shop up in Chicago area that handles a lot of S that I see second section guys talk about all the time. Mike Ostertag, I think, does S scale, and so does Zeska over at Twin Cities.
So my NMRA division director does SN3,
Ooh,
SN3.
S
He does
narrow
a-
gauge,
he likes to scratch build a lot, doesn't he?
and all of his locomotives and most of his freight cars that are not scratch, or pretty much all of his freight cars that are not scratch built, is brass.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem you run into when you get one of the more obscure scales.
Well, so cool story about him. He actually goes to Chama, New Mexico every summer and volunteers on the Coombers and Toltec. And when he started doing that, he fell in love with it, and that's when he went to SN3.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But
Yeah, because most of the people that operate the Cumbers Toltec are volunteers, and that you're like you just pointed out, they come from all over to do it.
Yeah.
I think they require a minimum of 2 weeks at a time.
well, okay, so the engineers and conductors and trainmen, brakemen, those guys are actually paid.
Okay.
The ticket booth is actually paid. It's the guys who work in the engine shops and car shops that actually do the repairs and stuff. Those are the volunteers.
See, I thought the guys that are in, I wanted to call them conductors, but they're the guys that have the headsets and give the verbal description, like the tour
Oh,
guides. so to
okay.
speak.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the interpreter.
Is that what they are?
Yeah.
Interpreter?
Yeah,
Okay.
the interpreters are also volunteers.
That's what I thought. Okay.
But the crews that are actually working on the train are not volunteers. They're actually paid.
Okay. Yeah, you can see why that would be.
It's especially the ones in the 2-passenger cars on the back end, because there is a bar, like they serve alcoholic beverages,
Yeah.
and the what is it? It's a buffet car. So
Yeah, it's right-
those three.
When
have
we
to-
went, it was you had the first class people all the way to the back, then you had a gondola, then you had the buffet car.
Yeah.
Then you had the coach cars.
Yeah. So
We
when
had
we
coach
went,
tickets, but spent the whole time in the gondola because it
yeah,
was close to
that's
the
what we did. So the way they had it set up when we rode it is your first class people, which had to be 18 or older. It was it's like a parlor car, I guess you would say.
Okay. Yeah.
You have individual chairs with a bar in front of you, and you're constantly looking down the side of the car. It's not. We were in the diner car, which was just tables, and it was between the gondola, the open air gondola, and the parlor car.
Is it me or is Jason's sound gone funky again?
Jason's sound's gone funky again.
It's got to be my Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It did it on another stream you were on.
Yeah,
So anyway.
it's got to be the Wi-Fi. I don't know what else it could be, and I don't have anything else running. TV and whatnot's not on. So, and I'm the only one here. Aaron's at school. Amanda's at work. So it's got to
So
be.
you're not homeschooling Aaron anymore?
No. After we got his diagnosis, we decided to put him back in public school. Because then public schools had no choice but to accommodate the way we want him accommodated.
Okay.
So yeah, he got finally, after 3 years of fighting, finally got a diagnosis of high functioning autism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never have known. Because a lot of people just say, "Well, that's just being high strung," but
Well, he's got ADHD too.
yeah.
So yeah, he's got a combination of
Your sound's coming back, by the way.
yay.
It's almost back.
It's kind of in between right now.
Okay.
Hey, Dwight.
Hey, there it is. You're back again.
And see, I even put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So I don't know.
Well, it is what my sound gets off sync, and I
Yeah.
sound a little different anyway because I'm missing my top teeth. I'm waiting for my dentures to arrive. So
I hear you.
Hmm. And Steve, it is very annoying when it looks like a Japanese movie where the mouth moves and then the sound comes.
Yeah, but and it's all hardwired.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no system reason why it should do that. Now, is it still doing that? Because I do have a new computer.
No, you're fine now.
Yeah, I do have a new computer. The old one had, ever since the move, had one issue or another pop up. So I broke down right before Christmas and bought a new computer with a bunch of video capability, GeForce 4060 video card. Yeah. Anyway, it's compared to the old one, which is 7 years old. Joe, hey Joe. Joe says there's a car where my train's supposed to be. My train's actually going to be up there above me, my little switching layout, which, by the way, I've been playing with AnyRail, and keep in mind, I am not any kind of an expert with AnyRail, but that's what I got. All right.
yeah, there you go. Is
That's
that
only part of it.
are those double slips?
Yes, there's two double slips and a three-way, and everything else is number 5, right or the left.
Not bad.
That's going to be a little complicated. Yeah.
It's actually based upon Downers Grove on the Burlington racetrack.
Mhm.
Highly condensed.
I would hope so.
Yeah, the area, if you take halfway and then add a mile of just 3 mainline tracks, okay, and then you'd have to expand out each one of those ends some too. But in the general scope of things, Downers Grove was the end point for the commuter lines until the mid to late 50s. So that area on the upper left there would have been a 3-track miniature yard with one of the tracks, the uppermost track, would lead to a turntable. No roundhouse, just a turntable. And there was an engine shed where those 2 tracks along the top are. And that was the end point for the commuter trains until like the mid 50s when the commuter traffic expanded all the way out to Aurora, another 15 miles or so, and which to this day is still the end point of the commuter service on the Burlington.
Oh, okay.
Now, most people would call it the Metra, but BNSF actually still operates it for Metra, which makes the BNSF the longest running passenger service in the United States. So, but the bottom track right there, siding, was actually is supposed to represent the freight siding at the Downers Grove Main Street location.
Okay.
Then there's the track to the top center, which was an industrial track. The crossover were 2 industrial tracks. The bottom siding was to Pepperidge Farm Bakery. And that's what they're all supposed to represent. But anyway, I will have the motormen set up on the center of the 3 main lines, right, so that I can have the commuter train. I'll probably just run 2-car commuter train back and forth, like during live streams and so forth. Or if I want to complicate operations. So I'll have it hooked up to the computer and JMRI, and I'll have a double pull, double throw on that freight siding there in the middle, so I can use it as a programming track.
Okay. Now you say one of your 3 main lines. Which are your 3 main lines in that diagram?
The 3 that go all the way through.
Well,
on the left side, it's the 3 bottom tracks.
3 bottom tracks. Okay.
All right. And if you just follow those all the way to the 3 tracks that go to the right.
Okay. Well, you have some turnouts or switches in between, so I wanted to make sure I was following the correct path.
Yeah, where it gets complicated or where it throws people off is that 3-way switch. All right. So
3-ways are always fun.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I haven't figured out how to do is how to lay in the bench work to the diagram. So
Well,
I don't find a easy way to do that other than to draw it actually out.
How far is it from? Okay, so I see your 3-way. Then you got a couple of switches to the left.
Yep.
How far is it from the switch on the far left all the way over to the switch to the far right?
Okay, the grid is 2.5 inches. Okay, so you can kind of get a feel for it. The bench work is roughly 16-inch on center.
Okay.
And people may ask, well, why did I do it at 16 inches on center? Because that's the way the supports have to line up.
As long as it's no more than 2 feet,
Mhm.
in distance, you don't have to have a support in the middle. But
Yeah.
worst case, if you do have to have a support in the middle, I see where you could put one, but you would have to kind of angle it a little bit. And that would be between your 2 double slips.
Yeah, and I put all my supports, they're 2 foot on center.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, I can float it, right? It doesn't have to stay exactly like that.
Yeah.
I can adjust. What I plan on doing is building the crossovers with the double slip in the middle.
So let me ask you this, Steve. Is there any way where those 2 turnouts come together throat to throat? Is there any way that you can take everything to the left of it and shove it over like 2 inches
Sure.
and then expand that throat to throat with a 2-inch straight piece of track between it?
Yeah.
Because if you do that and then also move that very bottom turnout
Right.
over, that's
Yep.
where you could put your support.
Or yeah, right in between.
Well, yeah, the supports are where they're gonna be. That's why I want to build. If I build the crossovers, I can lay the crossovers out actually on the bench work.
Yeah.
All right, and then I can move those. All right, to see where the braces are, the bench work, and have room for my switch machines and so forth. So that's the game plan. This is just the general idea of what the track plan is going to look like.
Gotcha.
And I still have enough room on each end for I think I 150 scale feet, so I got enough room for locomotive and 2 50-foot boxcars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
And on the center track, I've got more than that, so I got plenty of room for 2 to 3 commuter gallery cars plus a E8. But that's the whole idea. Now, I hear what Dwight's saying about Illinois. Illinois taxes you for everything. I mean, it's absolutely nuts.
yeah. My relatives that live there hate it.
I don't know how people. It is right up there with California and New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I could make some political comments, but I'm not going to.
And that's the way Chicago wants it, as they run the state.
Yep.
So that's why I moved from Florida to Tennessee, from one good state to another good state.
Yeah.
Steve, I have got to head out. I've got some.
We are past our 1 hour,
Yeah.
so it's time to close up shop anyway.
And
John, I want to thank
Jason?
you for joining us. Jason, it's
Yeah.
been a pleasure having you with us today.
Absolutely. You might as well just call it today the I-40 show.
Yeah.
The I-40 show, there we go.
Yeah.
From one
Yeah.
end to the other.
Yeah.
I'll research the Arkansas fight song for the next time you're on.
Either
And
that,
Jason, I always,
Either that or I'll just put on some grunting hogs.
well, I mean, you got John's Tennessee fight song because that's what they use as Rocky Top.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's their state song too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, not
like
ours.
Oklahoma.
ours is it's called the Arkansas Traveler.
Okay.
So good luck.
Now, does Dwight know what Illinois' state song is? I'm wondering. I do. I can sing it, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
I know what Indiana's is.
The Illinois
Jim
state
Neighbors.
song is Illinois. That's the
Yeah.
name of it.
Indiana's back home again in Indiana.
California, yeah. So true, Roy. So true. So true.
I know Georgia, University of Georgia's fight song, it's Glory to Georgia, but it sounds like I've been working on the railroad.
Uh,
All right. Well, everybody, I want to thank you all for joining us here at the Retirement Railroad from a little bit chilly today.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
And also from the hills of Tennessee.
Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me.
And of course, Jason in the middle.
That's right.
Wasn't there a show, something in the middle? Malcolm in the middle. Well,
Malcolm.
today was Jason in the middle.
Very
That's a
good.
good
All right, guys. Y'all have a
care,
great day.
all.
Take care,
Bye
everyone.
now.
Bye.
Bye.